everybody. How are you today? This is Nicole. Welcome to my podcast, The Cure for Chronic Pain, with me, Nicole Sachs, LCSW. How are you guys today? I am doing really well today. And I'm doing really well today, even though today is not necessarily an easy day, which we will talk about. But it doesn't have to be an easy day for me to know I'm okay and to be motivated by love and not fear. So a theme that you often hear me talk about. So welcome to the podcast today. Today is episode 28, which means that we've been doing this for a few months. And actually, guys, it's going really, really well. I think I looked at the listens of my podcast. I'm not a technical person, and I'm not really good at understanding the minutia of different statistics that come out of podcasting. But I definitely do know that I have close to like 70,000 listens, I think, which means that you guys are hearing me. Somebody out there is hearing me. So to that person out there that is hearing me, hi. All right. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about the journey. And I hate the word journey, but I use it constantly because I really don't have a better word to discuss what it feels like to be walking this path day in and day out, whether it's easy or it's hard or it's joyful or it's tearful that day. I guess it's just, it's a journey. It's a road that we all walk down. And it's really funny because this morning, this has been a super annoying 24 hours. This morning, I had to be on technical support with Squarespace because the new meditations that I worked so hard to record somehow are having technical issues when people are trying to download them. And so a lot of people have been writing me. And by the way, if you are one of those people struggling with any technical issues with my meditation, please do write to me at thecureforchronicpain@gmail.com, and either I or someone on my team will send you the file directly if you've already paid for it. So not to fear. But anyway, so I spent my morning on technical support with Squarespace and also on the phone while I was doing that with a mechanic. No, that's the wrong word. God, I am so not a person who knows how to fix anything. I don't even know the name. A technician. A mechanic is for your car. A technician to fix my washing machine, which crapped out yesterday. And with 5 children, 2 adults, and a dog who loves to throw up on things, not having a washing machine is really pretty sucky. And so I was doing that this morning, and I was really annoyed. And I said to Tiffany, being an adult is really hard. It's just so hard to be an adult. And then I paused and I was like, being a kid is also hard though. And she just goes, well, being alive is kind of hard. And I paused and I go, yeah, but being dead is hard too. And we were just laughing because the point is, it's all hard, guys. It's all freaking hard. It's hard because it's not easy, because it takes effort, because you have to get up every morning and do what needs to be done for yourself, for your family, for your loved ones, for your job, for your car, for your washing machine, for your dog who likes to throw up on things. You got to laugh about it, my friends. Anyway, so this has just been a frustrating 24 hours. And not to mention, as we all do, anything that's frustrating and that's above and beyond the norm, we have to do while also operating all of our regular day-to-day shit, my kids and the rides they need and the attention they need. And, oh God, I just remembered I forgot to call Oliver's school, that's actually what I'm really thinking right now, because I forgot to call his school because he forgot to pay 10 cents on a library book that is due. And if he doesn't pay it, he can't go on the field trip. Shit. All right. I'll do that when I'm done with the podcast. See, this is life. People write to me all the time from all over the world, and they're like, Nicole, thank you so much for the work you're doing. I really appreciate it. And, you seem like you have it all together. And so I don't always have it all together. That's one of the reasons I do this podcast so casually and so from the hip, off the cuff. See, I never know what I'm doing. I just get up every day and I do my best. And I really do my best. And, I do my best with the information that I have every day. I have new information every day. And as Maya Angelou said, when we know better, we do better. And so I do my best today with what I've got. And, last night when it was 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and I was getting all these emails rolling in, oh, the meditations, they're not working. I start to play them and they're looping back to the beginning, which just makes me crazy because I just want so badly for people to have a good experience with anything that I create, so that I'm on the computer sending all these people their files, and everyone's so kind and so lovely and appreciates it so much. So I have no complaints about anyone in the world that I interact with, but it's annoying. And then the kids are coming up to me and wanting things. And I have this line that I tell them, which is, so when I say, when I know better, I do better, this is how I do better these days with the kids and with being patient and with not feeling like I'm living constantly having to make amends to people. I tell them, guys, I'm really not a great mom after 9 p.m. I'm like, this is not the time to have a very deep scheduling conversation or bring up the fact that you knew something all day that now you're going to tell me for the first time that requires my immediate attention. There's nothing like living with teenagers to test your patience, because their lack of planning becomes your emergency. And you could say it's not your emergency, and you could say, you know what, kid, you got to deal with this crap now because this was not my fault and this was not my doing. But then sometimes that's even harder for you because then you're cleaning up even a bigger mess. And I do my best. So anyway, this has not been an easy day. No day is an easy day, but it can really be a joyful day anyway. If you are operating in love and not fear, and if you are doing the next right considered action for yourself, and if you are operating with patience, kindness, and forgiveness for yourself, which so often we forget. So that's definitely, these are topics we are going to hit upon today as we talk further. Okay, so I will tell you that if you are coming to Omega, I can't wait to see you. I've been hearing from a lot of people on my Facebook page and via email and via Instagram. By the way, if you don't follow me on Instagram, please rush over and follow me at NJ Sachs on Instagram, because I'm starting to focus a lot on my Instagram account and putting some good, important content there. And so are my guest instructors at Omega. And so a lot of stuff is going up and I don't want you to miss it. So follow me at NJ Sachs on Instagram for all that good stuff. So anyway, if you are coming to Omega, I can't wait to see you. So much exciting planning is going on right now. And if you haven't yet signed up, please do so right away, because I know that the accommodations at Omega, I don't know if it's full or not. It might be, because I know a couple people have told me they're staying at bed and breakfasts or Airbnbs around the area. Even if you're staying off the property, it's still going to be an equally amazing time. But if there are accommodations left at Omega, I would scoop those up right away, because it's also really, really fun to stay on the property and just kind of be there into the night and be there for the live music and the nightly programming there, which is all free of charge. You pay to be there, but then everything there, the yoga, the meditation, the amazing food, it's all available to you. And then, of course, you'll be spending every day with me and my amazing guest instructors. I'm just like, my whole body is buzzing right now with how exciting that's going to be. And anyway, so go check out my website, The Cure for Chronic Pain. The resources page has a link right to Omega, or you could call them directly. And if I had the number available to me, wouldn't that be good for me to be able to tell you that? All right, while I talk to you, I'm going to try to look that up, because I think some people aren't always technical folks and they like to just call a number and sign up. Here it is. You can call the Omega Institute at 877-944-2002, and you can then sign up with a lovely Omega person on the phone. So it's just easy. I think when I went to Omega my first time as a participant, I just called the number because I didn't feel like dealing with the website. So either way, if you're a website person, there's a link on my website on the resources page. Slow down, Nicole. And if you are a phone person, that is the number. Also, my online course is an incentive I'm doing that I announced on Caitlin Michael's podcast, which I recorded a few days ago, which is called Mind Body Mastery. If you're looking for another podcast to learn about TMS and other mind body issues, please look at Caitlin's stuff. She's amazing. Her podcast is called Mind Body Mastery, and I am her most recent guest. But I announced this promotion on her podcast, and I'm announcing it again here. From now until June 1st, if you sign up to join us at Omega, I'm going to include a free deluxe version of my online course for you to work on before you get there. And since it's the deluxe version, you'll get to download the whole thing to your computer. And that is a $245 value, and that is free to you if you sign up for Omega before June 1st. I'm trying to incent you to put a fire under your sweet little butt and come join us, because I know it's going to be a week of total transformation, and we are all going to heal just exponentially being there together. So that's that. Do I have anything else to tell you? I don't know. I'll probably think of it as I go, and I will announce it. Then. And okay, so let's talk more about this journey, this process, walking the path, and why it matters to have the right mindset about it. So I want to tell you a little story that just filled my entire heart up a couple days ago. So if you guys, any of my real ride or die fans who listen to every personal thing that I say anywhere online, I decided about a year and a half ago that I was going to do Invisalign, which is those clear braces that look like plastic trays that suck onto your teeth. And using the word suck, they suck. Especially at the beginning, they hurt. They stab you, they give you canker sores. And I'm not trying to be, against Invisalign, because just if you're associated with the Invisalign company, listen to the end, because this will end up being an endorsement. But anyway, at the beginning, it's really hard, and I was really uncomfortable, and I was being a super brat about it because I'm like a grown-up, guys. A week from Saturday, I will be 47 years old. I am a full grown-up. I don't like having shit stabbing me in my mouth. Teenagers I have two 14-year-olds that have a full mouth of braces right now, and they don't complain that much because kids are used to just sucking it up on so many levels. They're not accustomed to being an adult where you make your own choices and you get to say no if you don't want braces. And so I was super bratty and super baby in the beginning and just whining, mostly to myself, but sometimes to Tiff and sometimes to my friends and sometimes on my social media, that I just hate having stupid Invisalign because it was uncomfortable. And we don't like being uncomfortable as human beings. But here's the thing about the Invisalign. The reason I chose to get it is because when I first started my YouTube channel, I couldn't stand looking at myself talk with those crooked teeth. They weren't even that bad, but they were crowded on the bottom, and it was sort of like an overbite on the top. And I just never had braces as a kid, and I just wanted straight teeth. It was always a little bit of a dream of mine to have straight teeth, but they weren't bad enough to have bit the bullet and gotten real braces because I didn't want to have a brace face in my 30s. But then Invisalign came out. And I was like, okay, this I can tolerate. At least most people won't see it, and at least I can take it out if I have to do an appearance or be interviewed somewhere where people are going to see my face. So I got the Invisalign, not realizing quite how uncomfortable it would have been for me at the beginning. But here's the little bit of a beautiful TMS recovery, chronic pain recovery story in terms of that. When I was doing my one-on-ones, my consultation practice, I had a woman contact me from Australia, and she wanted to sign up for a one-on-one, so we signed her up. And the night that we were talking was one of the first nights that I had this Invisalign, and she was in such a low place. She told me a story that I will never forget, which is that she would sit on the couch with her young child. I think she had a baby, 3-4-year-old, and her husband, and she would be on one couch and they would all be watching TV, maybe they were on a different couch. And she said she would sit on the couch while the family was watching TV together, and she would Google ways that she could commit suicide because she was so depressed and anguished over her chronic pain, which was just owning her, and she was trying so hard to overcome it, and she didn't know what to do. And she said this to me, and I listened to her. You know, I don't just make any sort of bold statements without listening to somebody and really hearing what they're going through. But I heard her symptoms. It was very crystal clear to me that her symptoms were not dangerous to her. They were just a complication of the mind-body system, as I always talk about, being confused as to the fact that her emotional world she needed protection from that emotional world, and that it was showing up, the pain and the syndromes were showing up in her body. And it was very clear to me. And I said to her, honey, you are going to be okay. And you are going to be totally fine. You just have to walk this path. You just have to do the work. You have to believe what I'm saying to be true. And she was in absolute 10 out of 10 anguish. I said, you have to believe what I'm saying to be true. You have to walk the path, take the journey every day, no matter how you feel about it, and do the work as I instruct. And you have to operate with patience and kindness for yourself. And I know this is a tall order, but you have to do that. And if you do that, you will be well. And somewhere in the course of the conversation, my Invisalign came up. Duh, because I'm a suffering baby, and all I probably wanted to do was talk about it. And I hardly even remember this, but I remember it now, and you'll soon hear why. And I said to her, listen, we are both suffering. You're suffering with your chronic pain. I'm suffering with my Invisalign. And I have a year and a half before I get to take these things out of my mouth for good. I said, but I'm going to tell you something. If every day I wake up and put these stabby things in my mouth, and every day you wake up and you do your journal speak practice and you believe in what I'm saying and you operate with patience and kindness for yourself, by the time I take these things out of my mouth, you are going to be absolutely fine. And she was so sweet and so lovely, and she cried, and I don't know if she believed me that day or not. And I think I might have spoken to her one more time. It's hard for me to remember because I speak to so many people. But then I forgot. I ever said that because my brain only has so much space for whatever it has. And 2 days ago, I went on my Instagram account, on my Instagram story, and I recorded a little video, which is now gone, but on the story, it only lasts 24 hours. But I said, yay. And I wasn't thinking about anything other than that moment. And I said, my Invisalign is officially over. And I gave a big smile. And I said, look at my teeth. I am free of this, this daily torture, which it became way, way less torturous as the months went on. It actually became like nothing. But I said, I'm free of it. And I gave a big smile and I said, I have straight teeth. I did it. And I was just all super proud of myself. And not an hour later, I get a private direct message on Instagram from this very lovely, beautiful soul who said, you told me the day that we spoke that by the time you got your braces off, I was going to be totally pain-free and fine. And I am. And P.S., I'm pregnant with my second child. And I just cried. It was just such a beautiful moment because I forgot I said that to her. And I realized that time passes, guys. Time passes. And if we do what we need to do for ourselves, our lives improve. And trust me, on every day, on every particular day, I'm sure she did not feel great and I did not feel great. And there were days where I wanted to rip those things out of my mouth and throw them in the garbage and say, F this, it's not worth it. And I'm sure there were many days she felt that too. But obviously she carried on and I carried on. And a year and a half later, look how different our lives are. It might not feel like such a difference to you for me to have straight teeth, but to me, it really is. It really matters to me. I smile more broadly at the world, and that matters to me. And God knows it matters to her. So, I guess I want to encourage you wherever you are on this journey, no matter how hard it has been, how difficult it feels on the bad days, on the symptom-rich days where you are like, I freaking feel like I'm not getting anywhere. I promise you, dear, you are getting somewhere. And that is something that, the only person that needs to know that is you. And, if you're listening to this podcast and you don't know what the hell I'm talking about when I say do the work and do the next right considered action, please visit my website. All the resources you need are on my resources page. My online course will take you through everything you need to know. And if you sign up for Omega between now and June 1st, you get it for free. I have a book called The Meaning of Truth on Amazon. Go pick it up. It will explain to you exactly what you need to do. And I think that the barriers for people are fear. You living your life in fear and not love. There are two energies in this universe, and only two, that fuel absolutely everything we do: love and fear. You have two gas tanks inside you, my friends. A gas tank filled with fear and a gas tank filled with love. And you can plug your hose into either one of those at any moment in the day. You can always recalibrate. But if you plug your gas tank into fear, here's the problem. Fear works really well at fueling your life. You will get far. I got really far on a fear-fueled life. The problem is I was in tremendous chronic pain, and I was very anxious, and I was very unhappy. I still did the things. I got straight A's in grad school. And I'm saying that like a little bit to brag, but I'm saying that also mostly to tell you that I was terrified the entire time. I was fueled on fear. I was addicted to outcomes, and I was on and off in terrible pain. And I did that because I was an achiever. I was a straight A perfectionist, go getter. And that's still the way I am. I mean, my God, look at the shit that I'm always doing, the content I'm putting out, the effort I'm making, the curriculum I'm writing. I'm doing stuff all the time, but I'm fueled by love. I'm fueled by self-love, not self-loathing. I'm fueled by peace and by pause and by presence. That's what I'm fueled by today. And by the way, it's just as powerful energy. So, I know that you can't just flip the switch. You have to learn how to be fueled by love and not fear, but I can teach you. And I will teach you if you open yourself to that. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to my website, go to thecureforchronicpain.com, click on the resources tab. It's absolutely everything I offer is right there. And come learn with me, spend a week with me this summer at Omega. We will change your life for sure, for sure. I have no doubt about that. None of us are going to be the same people as we were when we walked through this beautiful, idyllic, scenic place as Omega is. And so, it's about honoring the fact that I know that it's such a cliche, okay, that it's a journey, not a destination. But honestly, guys, it really isn't. Like I said earlier, it's super hard to be an adult, but then again, it's super hard to be a kid, and it's super hard to be alive, but it's super hard to be dead. This is what we get, guys. This is it. This is it. Look out your window. So, okay, right now, out my window, it is a beautiful, gorgeous, sunny day in southern Delaware, on the coast of the United States. I will see the Atlantic Ocean today later when I decide to walk down to the shore. It's a beautiful day. And I'm looking out, and it's a blue sky. Not much wind. The trees are pretty still. This is this day I'm in right now. I look to my right. Blue dog is sleeping, not currently snoring, which is good for podcasting. This is where I am right now. This is where I am. My hair's on top of my head in a messy bun. And I'm talking to you. I just want you guys to touch into the present moment. I want you to understand there's no prize at the end of this, guys. I hear often, I pay attention when people talk about being hospice workers and doing end-of-life care. I'm really fascinated by that because I don't want to be a person who regrets the way I lived my life. And the number one thing I always hear when I'm listening to people who do this amazing life-changing work of being with people at the end of their lives is that the regret people have is they didn't love enough. They weren't in the moment enough. That is the only regret they have. I have never heard somebody report they have a regret they didn't make enough money, or they didn't achieve high enough status in their career, or they didn't get everything on their to-do list done that day, or they didn't get to the grocery store. I mean, my God, like, I know these things are important. Guys, I am not downplaying it. I totally get it that it's like important to get to the grocery store. I got to do that too. But it's just, pause all the time. And re-check into the moment and retouch into your experience. One of my, and I know I talk about parenting a lot, and I apologize for those of you who aren't parents, because maybe that feels like you can't relate, but try to relate, because everything that I say is also about your friendships and your loved ones and your job and your experience of feeling joy. The reason I talk about parenting a lot is because parenting is my greatest challenge and my greatest joy. And I think I may have mentioned this in the past, but there's an essay called On Motherhood by Anna Quinlan, and I just think about it every day when I'm trying to touch into the moment, because one thing she says in that essay is that she wishes she cherished the doing more and the not getting it done as much as she cherished it, the getting it done. Get them in bed, or get them finished with a project, or finish the science fair, or, the doing, cherish the doing. And I spend a lot of time cherishing the doing with my kids. And when it is most challenging is when I pause and I'm starting to be fueled by fear. I feel the fear. I feel the gas tank, the hose go into the fear gas tank, because I'm like, oh God, I just don't want to yell at them right now, or I don't want to try to get finished with this. I want to be there. And fear comes, and I say, pause. I press my old-fashioned 80s tape recorder pause button, the one that stays down when you press it. And I say, okay. What will really keep me present right now? And I look at this child's face in front of me, and their sweet little cheeks, and where their hairline meets their forehead. Like, I look at them. I look at their little crooked teeth that don't have braces yet, or the ones that are fully braced up and do. Or I look at my 16-year-old and I see the excitement and the joy and the pleasure in her face of her life and what exciting things she gets to do. And I just stop for a second and I'm there. And then I say, what's the next kind thing for me and for this child? And sometimes it's drawing a boundary and saying, I can't do this right now. But sometimes it's saying, Nicole, you have 5% more energy in here to just give it to this child and to not need to lose your patience. And I can do it. And I'm right there. And then I remember that moment, and I will not be on my deathbed saying I was not present with my children. And I want that for you. And you might be saying, if you're really suffering in chronic pain, what does this have to do with getting rid of my back pain or my fibromyalgia or getting my energy back from my chronic fatigue? What does this have to do with that? And it has everything to do with that, guys, because you are going to be the work that I teach you will heal your pain. It will heal your pain. I'm sure of it. If you do the work as I instruct, with belief in this process and patience and kindness for yourself, your pain is going to go away eventually. But I don't want you to miss your life in the meantime. And I don't want you to miss your life after. I want you here for this beautiful, rich experience we have. It's not always fun, but it's ours. And this is the one we get. So I hope that was helpful for you guys today. It certainly was helpful for me to talk about it with you. And I hope to meet you this summer, and I hope to see you. If you follow me on Instagram, write me a direct message, reach out, tell me how you are, because I love to hear from you. And if you are struggling today, I just want to tell you that I'm struggling today too, in my own way, but I'm sending you love and light and peace and presence and pause. And until next time, this has been The Cure for Chronic Pain with me, Nicole, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.